Chapter 1 IOPS Headquarters, Classified Location. Jeff Roy Majors tossed his feet onto the conference table and leaned back in his chair. Captain Lukian Blakusha, his brother by way of shared Lycan DNA, cast him a cautioning look. The colonel was due in at any moment, and he'd frown upon Roy's behavior. Not that Roy gave a shit. Sticking it to the man was his thing. As if on cue, the door to the debriefing room opened, and Colonel Asher Brooks made his way in, wearing his standard stoic game face. The man always seemed like he knew a huge secret and wasn't about to let any of them in on it. He also tended to come off as tired of the majority of the team's antics. And while most assumed he was only human, Roy didn't exactly buy it. Something was different about Brooks, but he'd never been able to figure out what. "Sorry to call you in on such short notice, but important matters have come to our attention." "It's big," said Brooks. Generally, Brooks tended to understate everything. If he thought something was big, it was huge. Roy exhaled, knowing he wasn't going to like what he was about to be told. "Big, huh? The last time we were told that, it was because shit hit the fan in Roswell. Tell me we're alone and that the truth isn't out there. I don't think I can handle another revelation like the last time," said Wilson, the team's were-rat and resident smartass, from across the conference table. Brooks lifted a brow, appearing annoyed. Wilson kept going. "Did the tabloids claim to have proof of aliens? Ooh, do we get to lie about it again? That was great, pretending like we hadn't seen a thing. Who wants to do it again? Raise your hand. We can force Green to make up another lame-ass weather balloon story. Everyone believed it the last time. By the way, has anyone talked to the Area 51 guys lately? I get nervous when they go radio silent for too long." Roy stifled a laugh. It had been funny watching Green, the team's egghead, try and fail to offer the public a viable alternative explanation for what had gone on in New Mexico all those years ago. The truth of the matter kept Roy up at night sometimes. Humans would never be able to handle it. The warning growl that came from the captain made Roy wonder if he would have to restrain Lukian so he wouldn't put a world of hurt on Wilson. Guess the captain didn't find the joke as funny as Roy did. Wilson always knew the quickest way to get the captain to lose his patience. It was a true gift. When no one was immediately maimed, Roy relaxed, though the idea of getting a few good punches in on Wilson did sound like fun, but that always sounded like a great idea and could wait until a better time. He'd always seen Wilson as something of a pesky little brother, despite the fact they were in no way biologically related. The colonel ignored Wilson's comments and hit the light switch, bathing the room in artificial light. Since a laptop sat near the projection screen, that meant the colonel had plans to show them something that would require the room to be dark. Flipping on the lights meant the colonel just wanted to be a dick. The lights wouldn't be needed. John groaned and shielded his amber eyes, no doubt hungover again. He'd taken the loss of their fellow IOPS teammate, Lance Tuve, the hardest. The two had been close friends, and Roy wasn't sure that John would be able to pull out of his funk. So far, it seemed as if the only sort of help John was after was found at the bottom of a bottle. The only people he had to confide in were the other Immortal Ops, IOPS, his team members. It wasn't like John could parade into any old shrink's office rambling on about losing his best friend of the past several decades, who never aged a day in all that time and who also happened to have been able to shapeshift into a panther. Yeah, a confession like that would have had John locked up in Bellevue in 2.2 seconds. Too bad Wilson wasn't prone to pouring out his heart. Seeing him in a straitjacket would be priceless. Roy suppressed a grin at the thought. Roy tipped his head and then directed his attention to the colonel. "If you don't mind me asking, sir, why did you call us in here today? We've already debriefed you on the events surrounding Lance's death, and Parker has been eliminated. Please don't tell me there's another leftover insane team member on the prowl. I'm not sure my nerves can take that today."